This is the G Podcast with your host, Tommy B.
News team, assemble!
It's time for the Week in News with Syracuse Mike.
We start with the message from the Justice Department Monday.
Violence has no place in civic life.
That's acting U.S. Attorney General Todd Blanche following this weekend's shooting near an event in Washington.
It cannot and will not be used to disrupt democratic institutions or intimidate those who serve them, and it certainly cannot continue to be used against the President of the United States.
In his first court appearance Monday, the man accused of opening fire outside the White House Correspondents' Dinner is now charged with attempting to assassinate President Trump. Prosecutors say 31-year-old Cole Allen, a California teacher and engineer, sent a note to family members before the attack, claiming it was his duty to target Trump administration officials. President Trump has joined the First Lady in calling for ABC to fire Jimmy Kimmel. Of course, we've been down this road before with Kimmel, but this time it's over a joke about the president's age and the fact that Melania Trump is much younger than him. The joke referred to Mrs. Trump as an expected widow. However, the Trumps say the joke was actually hate speech and a call for violence. The U.S. Supreme Court has delivered a major blow to the Voting Rights Act, ruling a Louisiana congressional map is an unconstitutional racial gerrymander, even though it was drawn to comply with the law. A group of voters who described themselves as non-African American had challenged the map. In a 6-3 decision, conservative justices said states can almost never consider race when drawing voting maps. Writing for the majority, Justice Samuel Alito said only extreme cases might justify it. Louisiana must now redraw its map with primaries just weeks away. Liberal justices dissented, warning the ruling could have far-reaching consequences and weaken protections for minority voters nationwide. It was the longest shutdown of a single federal department in U.S. history, and now it's over. The House has voted to approve a funding package already approved by the Senate that ends the shutdown impacting the Department of Homeland Security. It lasted 75 days. President Trump pushed the House to get it done. Here's Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson.
This will relieve pressure from the Department of Homeland Security. Secretary Mullen, who I've spoken to in the last couple of hours, will be greatly relieved. The President will, the administration will. We were not going to have lines at TSA. Everybody will get their paychecks now. We'll get moving forward.
Those comments earlier Thursday. This bill does not include new funding for ICE or Customs and Border Protection as Democrats push for changes to immigration policy. Both agencies remain funded during the shutdown due to a previous measure, and Republicans say they'll work to secure long-term funding in the weeks ahead. $4.30 a gallon. Well, that's old news. Friday's average up 9 cents. Now the average price of regular unleaded in the U.S. is $4.39 per gallon, according to AAA. President Trump has repeatedly said the price will come down soon, and it's worth it.
And we're not going to have a nuclear weapon in the hands of Iran.
The conflict with Iran has now lasted 8 weeks, and polls show support for the war in the U.S. remains low. President Trump told Newsmax he disagrees.
I actually think it's very popular, what I'm doing. I can tell you worldwide, the world is thanking me.
President Trump is also pushing back on congressional efforts to limit his war powers, saying only a select few know the status of talks with Iran, despite public uncertainty. Tensions are rising with European allies as troop withdrawals are threatened, and Iran's Supreme Leader Mojtaba Khamenei is doubling down, calling recent gains by his country in the region irreversible.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to episode 309 of This is the G Podcast. What's up, y'all? Yes. We are here, smiling faces bright and shiny on the... Yeah. There you go. News, politics, pop culture, and the tea. That's what we are, y'all. Make sure you're following us on Spotify. And if you're not, hit me up. I'm here. I'll help you. Man, what a rough week. You know, and I'm going to try to get through this episode because, you know, first of all, Spirit Airlines is gone. And I know, Tanya B., you're a flyer more than I am.
No, I have never, nor would I ever fly Spirit because I can go right down the street in Atlanta and see rats and roaches. Why would I pay to see them on an airplane? No, man.
Hey, it's an airline. No. But anyway, as we tape today, they have shut down. There is no customer service. People are trying to figure out what to do next. And they're gone, y'all. In other news, before we get to the bigger news, the Hawks and the Knicks, oh boy, man. Let me say this, and and I'm glad Talib is here. And I'm glad Talib has spent some time in Atlanta because I just won't get the Knicks overload. But I said it before. I am actually happy with the end of the season, the way they ended the season. But what I mean is the regular season.
Yeah, the regular season. Yeah.
The way they ended is promising. But this last game, go ahead, Talib. I'll let you finish. This last game.
This one right here?
It hurts.
It hurts.
It hurts. Because look, I guess, man.
Are you sure Hawks played?
To see us down by 60.
Yeah.
To see, and these are both of my teams. So I love the Knicks. Growing up, I was a Knicks all the way, but I'm telling you, man, I feel like I was hearing Sweet Georgia Brown in the background. You know what I mean? Because it just felt like watching the Harlem Globetrotters do the Washington
and the Hawks
what
and
is
the
the
Hawks,
team that played?
The Washington Senate. No, it wasn't the Senators. The Capitals. The Capitals.
Oh wow!
But I will say we weren't the Globetrotters. The Hawks were not the Globetrotters.
Not at all.
The Globetrotters play better.
Those were not real Hawks. That were not the real Hawks team. Those imposters.
I'm telling you, it's a curse. It's a curse. The United has a trophy. The Braves have like 2, maybe 3, and then nobody else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No one else.
I guess God has not forgiven him for trading Dominic Wilkins.
Man.
Well, let me say, man, I do, and I've said this before because I've been a big critic of the Hawks. I don't think they spend enough money. They haven't spent enough money in the past. They've been a 500 team up until the end of the season. But the promising thing going forward is, and this is what I'm really watching in the upcoming weeks, is the NBA draft. Because if they don't correct their issue of not having a big, then they're going to see more of this.
Yeah.
And I think they have the right core. I think building around Jalen Johnson is the right thing to do. I think Dyson is a good defender. Walker is great potential, and as a matter of fact, he won the most improved player in the NBA.
Okay.
So I think the core.
You said about Kuminga?
Kuminga has potential, but let me say this about Kuminga.
He's been in the NBA 4 years. We're still talking about potential.
Well, here's the thing. It's only potential if you don't see it. You got to see it. And that's my whole thing. There've been a lot of players. I forgot the kid that everybody loved. The Hawks drafted a few years ago, and he went from team to team to team to team, and now he's out of the. Now he's in Shanghai.
Some of the guy from Europe, ain't you?
No, he's American, black. I forgot his name.
You said
but
he's in
just
Shanghai?
like that, I forgot his name. He's probably playing in Shanghai.
Oh, probably.
But my whole thing is this: Kuminga has to be consistent. The NBA is about consistency. You can't play one. You got 3 games in the week. You can't shine in just maybe a half of one. You got to play every game. I mean, if you want to be a star in the league, you got to have impact every game. And that's the thing about the Hawks, man. I mean, they have to have a big. I'm setting the bar high, but it's almost like they need a Wemby type big. You don't need a big who can only play in the paint. You got to have a big who's a threat on the outside as well. You got to have a 2026 kind of big.
Yeah.
So we'll
Is
see.
anybody out there like that?
Well, we'll see. Because the big game has changed from the days when I was playing ball. It's a different kind of game. Yeah. That's why the Spurs are doing so well. But I'm gonna say this, man. I hate they went out like that because of the way they ended the season on such a high note.
Exactly.
I think that's the worst thing about this.
Yeah, I have a real bad taste in my mouth.
And then seeing Boosie dragged out on the court, that
did not help.
That's like what?
They just didn't care. I'm just saying, Brunson was playing around with it.
Oh, at that point, it was over. At that point, it was over.
Yeah, it was pretty much over. It was over in the first half. It was over in the first quarter.
First quarter. First 10 minutes, it's a wrap. Boop.
Yeah, but I will say, let me, and I'll say this one thing. Landry Field left. He was the GM before. The new GM, I think, is promising. Very promising. He's a good. He understands the NBA much better than Landry Fields did as a GM. Ressler is my issue with this team, the owner. He's got to make an investment, a big investment in this team after seeing the potential of what they could do toward the end of the season. Look at that and make the investment to take the team further, take it forward. Exactly. So we'll see. If he does that, cool. If not, I'm going to be talking shit in September.
What about the
I promise you. I promise you.
What about
here's the thing. Here's the thing about Snyder. Snyder redeemed himself toward the end of the season.
Okay.
But again, Snyder is, and I think I said this before, this is his 4th year. He's got a 5-year deal. So if he doesn't start the next season on an up note, strong, then I think they're going to be looking at replacing him as well. So we'll see. But I do like the GM. I will say that. I find promise in this new, because he came from San Antonio. He used to be with Golden State as well. He's been with winning organizations.
But didn't he bring Snyder with him? Didn't the GM bring Snyder with him?
No, he didn't bring Snyder with him. He came in after Snyder. Yeah.
Okay, so he can get his own coach.
Yeah, exactly. So he, as a matter of fact, he left the game early, which I don't blame him.
The GM?
Yeah, he left the game early. He was seated. They showed him on camera. Yeah, he got up and left.
After 5 minutes, he should have been gone.
He got up and left.
After 5 minutes, he should have gotten his ass down to the court and played.
Now you asking too much.
You know what I mean? Look, man, I need a GM that's going to get involved.
Playing is not there.
All right, y'all.
He could have called timeout. He could have called timeout. Willing to coach. I'm sorry, a lot of Hawks fans. This game is over. We're getting rid of the next
Damn.
Get your rebate.
Get your rebate.
You should have
went on court, and now I'm giving everybody a refund for parking. And everybody refund for this game. The game is over. We're working on the draft as of now.
Yeah, he should have. I agree. And Ressler was probably, I think Tony Ressler, the owner, was there too. So there you go. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's move on. We're gonna move on. Here's the deal: 47% of Democrats believe that. Let me state that again. 47% of Democrats believe the assassination attempt was staged. 47%.
I make it 48.
That's high.
So let me ask you, Tanya B, you believe it was staged?
I think all of it was. Look, even that so-called ear with the red blood capsule, I think the whole thing was staged. Because you notice whenever his numbers, his approval rating get like in the 30s and they get really low, here he comes with a stunt. And I think this was another one. I wonder how much they paid that poor man. And I say poor because he will never, trust me, he will not see the light of day again. And let me allegedly, let me say this, just like that young man that allegedly shot Orange Man before and ended up dead to the bed.
Right.
Let's see how much time happens before, what's his name, Mr. Massey. I'm telling you, he's gonna meet him too. I don't think he's gonna live long enough to get to trial.
Yeah.
And that means, to me, that is a clear indicator that there was some shady business going on, shady boots going on.
I got you. Let's go to Vi. Vi, you believe it?
I believe it's staged.
You believe it's staged?
It's unusual for a black man to do that and not get shot or killed.
Yeah.
Normally, when we see him a threat, they shoot us and ask questions later. Yeah. They didn't even try to shoot him. They just tried to capture him. So when a black man, come on, they captured him. And when he trained with an advanced wife or something?
Well, the thing is, he was because he was an inventor.
Right.
Yes.
He went to like Cal Polytech.
Very intelligent.
And he invented this. He's part of the team that invented this wheelchair bracket.
The brake.
A brake. And he was there presenting, and Vance's wife was also there. So that was.
So they just had to be in the same area.
They just happened to be in the same. Nah, but there. Let me tell you, I have never seen so many. How do you say it? Conspiracy theory videos out so quickly after this. I mean, Saturday night it happened. By Sunday morning, there were a ton of them on the internet.
Well, you got to think about it.
Let me see.
The last assassination, more people started to believe the last assassination because of the ear.
Yeah.
Look at how well his ears healed. That's not possible if the ear got shot off.
Well, I'm gonna go to Talib. I'm gonna come back to the ear. Talib, your thoughts? You believe it?
Man, no, he was wearing a tampon on his ear, man. Come on, look, Trump is a master manipulator, if nothing else. And he knows when to do what, or he thinks he knows when to do what in order to get him to the next situation. I have to agree with you, Tommy. The response on this one was crazy because Sunday morning I was watching the Legos. You know what I mean? Like, they're just like, it's almost like it's like they're conspiring with the Lego people now. You know what I mean?
It's schoolhouse. It is schoolhouse rap. That's what I call it. I call them schoolhouse rap.
Yo, man, it's crazy. And they got one for Clarence, Clarence cornball ass, But yeah, man, it's getting harder and harder to believe that this master of distraction is not staging these kind of attempts. And if he's not, then what is that really saying about his his presidential reign? You know what I mean? Like, okay, Reagan had one attempt.
Yeah.
Who else had an attempt after Reagan?
They said Obama had 11, but you never knew about it.
Yeah, you never saw him.
Well, you knew Obama
had
was
11. He had 11 assassination attempts, but we never knew anything about it.
And you know why. So know, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about Caucasians. How many attempts have we? How many presidential assassination attempts have we had since Reagan?
Yeah.
One.
Right.
Well, you got to keep in mind with Trump. There's some that we don't know about. There's some that are more high profile, like the golf situation, the golf course. There are a couple that we have. But I'll say this. One of the things that I have an issue with, as a whole, is the credibility of the White House in general.
They don't have to.
Oh yeah.
Exactly. When it comes down to just believability, there are a whole lot of people who have given up. And so when you ask them, when they see this, and they see so many things that don't make sense, and the fact that he lies, 98 to 100 times a week or so?
A day.
There's so many things that
was in unison.
So many untruths. I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt.
I don't know why.
But my whole thing is this. Credibility is shot. So I think you got one side that's a cult, so they're going to believe everything. You got the other side who, tries to be hopeful that things will change, and here comes another, crazy thing. So it's hard to believe anything. And I say this all the time. People ask me, I say it's hard to believe anything that comes out of this White House. I had a video I sent around to you guys just about the number of times he said he was the president of peace before starting this war. And the number of people who said it coming out of his mouth, coming out of Vance's mouth, coming out of his Secretary of War's mouth. Everybody has said before, leading up to it, coming out of the election, he's the president of peace. He ran on that.
Right.
He ran on that.
And that's the hypocrisy.
Right. There you go. The peace of hypocrisy.
My whole point is this. You can't believe anything. Don't believe anything. I don't blame people. Right. I tell people, I say, don't believe it. Don't believe it. I mean, you can't even trust but verify.
Right.
I don't even, there is no trust.
Nope.
So now I'll leave it at that. But I will say, did you have one more thing, Tanya B? ahead.
Just said, look at this conspiracy now. Here are 5 or 6 Secret Service agents, and none of them shot that man, but he was able to get off a round and shoot somebody in the chest. And you talk about conspiracy? Please.
And nobody shot.
How does someone get that close to the president?
Yep.
You got the president, the press corps, and the DC elite. I'm watching all these accounts, and what's the whole scenario when they set up when we're in Congress, State of the Union, and somebody has to stay back. In that there's a name for it. I'll Google it in the break. But there's a name for that. They didn't even have that protocol set up.
Yeah,
everybody's in one room.
And
yeah,
that was the TV series.
Yeah,
you have to have that set up. I mean,
designated survivor.
And how would the BP they try to rescue?
Wait a minute, Vi. Yeah. Say it again, Talib.
Designated survivor.
Exactly. You have to do that when you have so many people now. Of course, all of Congress wasn't there, but you have to make sure with that many people in the room that you've got the succession plan in place in case something goes down, in case the freaking building blows up. Okay.
Let me say this.
So, but I will say, and I'll come back to you, Tanya B. The other thing I have an issue with is the statement about political rhetoric. Dude, how can you come out as an administration, considering all the things that you've said in tweets, and say that the Democrats need to tone it down? I'm like, even if you're an independent, that sounds stupid coming from the Republican Party. Ridiculous. And the gaslighting in this administration is ridiculous. If you don't pay attention, if you're not watching the news, if you're not understanding what's going on, you'll just go right along with it. Tanya B., I'll give you last word on it.
One more thing that lets me know that further indicates to me that this whole thing was staged. I can't think of the gentleman's name, but he was the agent for the newscaster Wolf Blitzer from CNN.
Yeah.
Dude went viral because when everything started shaking and baking, he kept eating his salad. He did not move, as if he knew what was about to go down. Because if you are really truly in fear of your life, you don't sit there and eat a 65-cent salad that probably costs $65. Dude did not miss a bite, and he went viral. So either he's used to it or he knew something that we didn't know, because he did not stop eating his meal.
And the funniest thing that people used after it was the fact that they were talking to Caroline Leavitt before this whole thing started, like on the red carpet. And she says, "Oh, shots are going to be fired tonight." And she was talking, she was, people at the time thought, okay, we're talking, rhetorically here, barbs and words. But guess what? Shots really were fired.
Yeah. And she really didn't know about it. Don't act like you didn't know.
So but the other thing you were talking about, the ear, and I wanted to address this, Vi, they showed Evander's current picture.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah.
With his ear.
Right.
Evander's ear still hasn't freaking grown back from the Tyson.
They don't grow back.
They don't grow back. So what is this? Is it a fake ear?
I mean, if you got plastic surgery or something,
You think?
You could have got that done.
That quick? No. That was like, a day? Within a week?
Exactly.
Well, for the first couple of months, he wore a big old bandage on there, remember?
No, I don't believe it.
The tampon.
I can't accept anything out of that place anymore. Yeah.
Well, I'm like this.
Yeah.
Nobody get shot in their ear and then stands up to my fight. You can get your hands out of there.
Yeah.
Like I'm supposed to believe he's so courageous. He want to stand up and say fight. No, dude, you are a coward.
Well, it's just like in the dinner, he wanted to stay there, and they're like, "No, you have to leave." And then they allegedly, to cover up the fact that he fell, they tried to say the Secret Service was whisking him and Melania off of the stage. No, his ass fell down. And again, if there was no harm to be done, you want to sit there like you're this martyr, he's acting like, who is that repels? Let's call him. He don't even look as good as Wonder Woman. Just somebody who can repel bullets. You know what? No.
Okay. I got you. Let's move on. We got the VRA, of course, and I'm just going to be very direct about this. I got two names to say: Kirsten Sinema and Joe Manchin. Let me just say those two names because we talked about this a lot during this period when there was an opportunity for us to codify the Voting Rights Act, and there was an opportunity also to pass the George Floyd Act. Those two names should go down in infamy, you know. And I tell you, I also blame the Democratic Party.
Oh yeah,
definitely. We've had plenty of time. We had plenty of time to codify Voting Rights Act over the years. I know they could come back and say, well, you know, we didn't always have. There were times when you had the majority, multiple times, and you didn't use it. So, you know, I as much as I hate to say it, and I keep saying it, you know, we told you so. You know, and to folks who made a decision not to vote, to folks who made a decision that voting doesn't matter, you will find out very quickly whether or not it matters. Right. Now, I will say this: the state of Georgia has already come out and said that they're not going to make any changes for 2026, but they are going to make changes to a lot of these districts for 2028. And for those of you who say, well, I live in Atlanta, it's too black. No, let me tell you, they're figuring out ways to even break up majority black cities. And basically, you know, I have to say it. Voting has consequences. And we're seeing the consequences of non-voting or voting for the wrong people. That's it. You know, we had the opportunity multiple times. You know, that's why Trump's back in office. You had the opportunity. You didn't take it.
I'm waiting for.
Now go ahead and go to you, Tanya B.
No, say before we know it, and you know, I'm not laughing about this. I'm not trying to be the least bit shady, but they're probably going to go in there and probably rezone or redistrict, whatever you call it. They're gonna chop up the West End. You watch.
Well, you know, it was a 6-3, and I just want to give a little history. It was a 6-3 split. You know who voted for it. You know who voted for this. 3 black justices, 3 liberal justices dissented. 6 white justices, of course. I include Clarence Thomas. said the law doesn't say what it thinks it says, so they're going to gaslight us. You know, that's all I have to say. Section 2 was really the last real tool we had left. That was it. You know, and this is going back to 2013. The whole Shelby County pre-clearance was killed. That was taken away. So Section 2 at least allowed lawsuits, you know, after racist maps were drawn, where we could go back and gut it. But, you know, I mean, you know, how does, what is it, FAFO? We just fucked around and found out.
Too late.
And you know, it's not over yet. So, but I'm going to say this, and I'll give it to whoever's. Tanya B, did you have anything?
No, I'm done.
I do want to just say one more thing, and I'll go to Talib, and then I'll go to Vi. I'm hopeful still. I still think, you know, I think without a doubt, you know, black folks have been through a lot. So I'm not going to sit here and say, damn, woe is me. But I think we're going to have to definitely rethink heavily who our representatives are. And we've said this on this show in a number of occasions, from dog catcher on up. And we do have to participate in the process. We can't just say, well, I opt out on this and that. No, you have to participate all the way through. And we got to make sure we have the right candidates, period. We got to stand up and really, and I'm like this, and I'll go to you, Talib. I think we're going to have to break off, man. I know. I've been saying it for a long time, but I know we're gonna have to break off.
Yeah, and I'm ready. I've been ready. You know what I mean?
We got to break off because if you know, go ahead, man. I mean, I think it's almost like we're gonna have to make sure that we can't just say, oh, we'll follow the masses along. No, we got to break off.
No, listen.
Go ahead.
First things first. Clarence Thomas should be taken out to the woodshed and have his pubic hairs removed one by one You know,
that's a lost cause, man.
By someone from Anita Hill's family. You know,
lost. But go ahead. That's a lost cause.
Yeah, I know. But you know, just when you think it can't get any worse, you know, he goes and does something like this, and he's been trying to do it for years. So, you know, this falls right into whatever kind of playbook plan that he has. You know, the fact that we still have not gone after the Supreme Court for all of this dark money that they've been receiving, gifts that haven't been reported, things that have been reported in the wrong categories, you know, and still we allow them to make a decision like this. You know, yes, Tommy, we should have had, this should have been codified years ago. We should not be still talking about this at this particular time. Right. You know, and shame on the representatives who allowed something like this to happen. You know, but you know, it's not surprising.
No,
it's not. We knew this was coming. You know, we've been talking about this forever. So, you know, it's like, okay, well, you know, here we go. Buckle up for this latest roller coaster that we've got now. You know, but I know that the people with melanin that are in this country that have been surviving this stuff for years now, you know, will still survive it. We're gonna figure it out.
Yeah, but I agree.
But the real of it is that at this point we shouldn't have to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And shouts out to speaking of well, I just wanted to definitely mention Florida State Representative Angie Nixon for taking the bullhorn to the state floor this week and announcing that she wasn't going to allow this gerrymandering to take place. You know, I don't know if you saw this clip, you know, but sis was out there with the megahorn, like, yo, this is an illegal action. This is an illegal action. Like, because it's already a part of the Florida State Constitution. So you guys are trying to go against the very Constitution that you voted for, you know, and wrote in. I mean, this is, you know, look. Yeah. It's already been put into their Constitution that you can't do this, and yet and still there are people who are trying to do this. So what it is saying is that there are nothing but criminals in these representative type positions now, because if you know something is against the law and you still not only do it but then try to push other legislation that would make what is lawful unlawful, then you've got, there's a real problem there. I'm really just getting tired. Like I say it all the time. I'm just getting tired of all of these hypocrites. Yeah. You know, you guys are accused, the accusations that you make are what you were doing when the cameras go off.
Yeah. I'm gonna stop you there and go to Vi real quick. We're gonna wrap with it as well. Vi, you got any thoughts before we?
I got several things. One thing, like Thurgood Marshall said, they're going to elect a black person to be the Supreme Court. He's going to be black in color, but not going to be black in mind. That would claim Thompson them. Like you said, I agree with you. We need to start our own party. Because the Democratic, they're not bad as a Republican, but they're not doing anything to stop it neither.
Yeah.
Start our own party. And another thing, we need to get more Supreme Court justice.
I agree.
Vote for more Supreme Court justice. That's how we're going to be, because these folks, they're not dying. They don't leave unless they die every time. So Biden should have did what they suggested in the beginning when he first got office, add to the Supreme Court.
Yep.
We got to go, like the Republicans do, we got to go home. We got to step out of bounds, because they stepping out of bounds. We got to start trying to play by the rules, because they're not playing by the rules. Yeah. The rules are gone now. Take the gloves off.
Yeah, so true. Well, here's what could potentially happen. Georgia redraws around Atlanta to turn 2 black majority seats into 0. Louisiana is going to cancel its 2nd black district, and Texas is probably going to clean up the remnants of that the 2024 court ordered map. That's probably what's going to happen. And by 2028, they're talking about black congressional power dropping by 20 to 30%. So we'll see. I think I don't think it's going to affect the midterms mostly, because but I do think the peril that I see ahead is 2028, the presidential election. So we'll see how that goes. So I'd love to hear from the audience in terms of what they think we should do, but I truly believe we just need to break off, and it's fucking
because
it's not going to hurt.
Blacks vote. If all the blacks get together, they couldn't stop us then.
Yeah, it's not going to hurt. It'll help, because that's what quite frankly, that's what Asians do.
That's the same thing.
So that's what other other cultures who don't see.
We are the only race that don't stick together.
Yeah. So there you go. All right, y'all. Hey, let's do this. Let's take a quick break and we'll come back with the tea. How about that? I know it's kind of a crazy day, but let's go ahead and take a break and we'll come back with tea. Here we go.
Crazy week.
Hey, Tanya B, here we go.
Now then, children, it's time for tea.
It's tea time, y'all. Sipping the tea with Tanya B.
Oh, Lord. Okay, well, 2 headlines just in. Tommy B, are you ready? Okay, here we go. Yesterday around 4 p.m. East Pacific time, there was a shooting outside of Chris Brown's house. Suspect is in custody, and he looks like us. And poor Chris Brown, he just can't. I really have high hopes for this tour. I really hope he does well, but he needs to get a house sitter. Also, you may recall Praz from the Fugees. Well, Praz is now headed to the pen, as in the penitentiary. You will see him in 14 years. It really did happen. Let's go back a little bit. Let's talk about Talkers on the timeline. Talker on the timeline this week again is old dumb donkey Ray J. And now he's going back to the early 2000s. You really are reaching if you have to go back to the 2000s to get yourself a headline. Now, he was on Cam Newton's Funky Friday podcast, or whatever Cam Newton does when he dresses up like a woman. And Ray J claimed that when Kim and Khloe Kardashian were assistants to his sister Brandy, who does not mess with him anymore, that they took over $500,000 of Brandy and her mama's money, used their credit cards to buy shoes. Now, I've heard this, Tommy B, this story is not new. I've heard it before. I don't know if anybody else has. I've heard it before, but now Ray J's talking. But here comes this mess from a man who claims he's also slept with 10,000 women. You are not, was it Bill Russell or Wilt Chamberlain? That is not your jam, Ray J. So I did hear that they were forced to give it back, but you know, Oprah always says, keep your eye on your money. Speaking of money, does Meg Thee Stallion need money? Now, you know, she took her final bow in Moulin Rouge. She had some issues there. She fell out, had to go to the hospital. She was dehydrated, and now she's leaving 2 weeks early because she just really is having a hard time with her mental wellness because she split up from Klay Thompson. Allegedly, he was busy on the creep, but then this story that has come out about Nikki telling him that she needed, I heard $700,000 a year, then I heard $700,000 a month to be his girlfriend. Girl, sit down. The stage is empty. Nikki says her heart is full, but she need to go somewhere and sit down and regroup because, honey, you're not worth it. Maybe not. You know, then I thought about it. Tory Lanez, Was there some more validity to what he had to say? Let's go.
Well, let me say that they said the story about the 700K was debunked. It can't be found anywhere.
Yeah, and Clay didn't say anything, but they just clowned him and took Michael Jackson's head from the Thriller album and put Clay's head on there with somebody else's Jerry curl. So, at the end of the day, stop talking about your personal relationship so early on social media. Oh, I'm in love. But then 2 weeks later, oh my God, I can't stand him. He broke up with me. He cheated on me. So, keep your business in the house, young people. Let's talk about the Michael movie. Yee-hee. They're trying to, I think, push this a little further back on the revenue scale because Devil Wears Prada 2 came out. But Michael Jackson's movie has made over $300 million. Even with the reshoots, the estate has still turned a profit. He is king of pop. Now he's a king of the box office, y'all. That's all I got to say. And people are going to see this movie 2 and 3 times as well. And there's a special senior citizen rate that you can get in the ATL for $4. But anyway, let's talk about this movie called The Pores. Now, this movie has made over $300 million globally. And, 8 Mile was supposed to be the biggest, highest grossing music biopic in history. But The Pores said, sorry, Eminem. Then we've got a movie called The Gamble. There's already buzz about it. Working on part 2, but do you really want to see complicated things? Or sometimes you need to just leave a movie where it is and not try to make a part 2, 3, 4, or 10. Remember the magic as it was. That's all I got to say about that.
So you're talking about the Michael Jackson sequel?
No, I mean, not even. I'm talking about, but yeah, because sometimes when you get into 2, 3, 4, I think like Tom Cruise and Mission Impossible, Back to the Future 55, let it go. Because a lot of times you can do a couple of sequels. As Eddie Murphy, they went to Beverly Hills Cop 4. Stop at 2. I think that's about it. But if Michael Jackson Part 2 does come out, what are they going to address? Because the movie stops, I understand, in the year 1988. He did have things, because see, that was right when the allegations were starting to creep up. So I'd be interested to see, how they're going to address that angle if they do a part 2. Okay. I mean, a part 2 of anything. Now, if you have Netflix, go over somebody's house. If you don't, Tracy Morgan. Now, look, he keeping it in the family, y'all. There's a new animated movie called Swapped. Came out yesterday. And Tracy's daughter, Maven, is actually in there in the movie. I think that's cute. Father and daughter working together. It's like some kind of a body swapping comedy, but it's got some soul, of course. But I think it's a good excuse to stay in the house and just watch a good movie, because Lord knows who wants to go outside, especially with the pollen. So check that out. Check out Swapped on Netflix. Also, congratulations to Mama Tina Knowles and Tisha Campbell. They were honored at the Sneaker Ball this week. That's the charity of Bobby Christina, Whitney and Bobby's daughter, the Serenity House. And Mama Tina, because she is a fashion designer, she shut it all the way down with her custom high tops. And I am not mad at her. But I am mad about her because that gumbo stand she got shut down by the Board of Health. Now, also, Angelina Jolie was at the Sneaker Ball because her daughter goes to an HBCU. Zahara goes there, and she did a tribute to her mother. But Giselle Bryant, I'm sorry, she's not worthy of my headlines, Tommy B. Let's go talk about something else. Let's talk about Savannah James, the wife of LeBron James. Now, he admitted, Lakers are on fire right now, and this might be as far as the fire goes. That remains to be seen. But LeBron said, unlike Judge Mathis, when he retires, that his wife will get 100% of his time, because I'm sure she might get about 2% now. But at least he knows what's important. A job is a job. I get it. Your career, I know you love sports, but family first, God second, and then you are third. Okay. Now, another thing I found kind of disappointing, Tommy B, is that Nia Long, after all the great and positive press about the Michael Jackson movie, she's about to go into mediation because she's got challenging a pay dispute with the film. She did not get nearly more than half of what her other similarly billed co-stars received, including Coleman Domingo. No tea, no shade to the Philly John, but that's it. Now, we were talking about the correspondence dinner and how we really believe it was all like a bunch of fakery. Okay, well, just in case you were wondering if anybody cares, guess who was supposed to be there, Tommy B? Okay, I'll tell you. Nikki Minaj. And, you know, Nelly was supposed to be in D.C. at Don Jr.'s private club. So this is where they're doing these so-called private gigs. But Nelly, I hope you save your money. But Nikki Minaj, she might have bigger problems than if she went to the correspondence dinner because her sex offender husband and she have allegedly split up because he allegedly may have gotten another woman pregnant. And that's all I got.
There you go. Hey, I do have to go back to the Michael story and just say that Michael to have already billed or made as much money as 8 Mile is pretty impressive. Mm-hmm. You know, that's pretty impressive so far. So the sequel thing, I mean, they're going to go ahead and do it. That's a done deal. It's already been greenlit. So the part 2, they're going to go ahead and do it. Just and actually, I think Antoine Fuqua has already signed on. Everybody's already signed on. I do hope that whatever this resolution is for Nia Long, she gets it because, you know, black women are already underpaid in Hollywood as it is. It just doesn't make sense.
And you know what they did?
Considering that the movie's making money. Yeah, go ahead.
They cut out her parts in the movie, which I thought was real shady. They cut, they cut down the visibility of her character.
Yeah, but go ahead.
They didn't have a choice. They had to cut it out.
Why do you say that? They had to cut out Catherine Jackson?
Like the stuff Bacon was talking about, the stuff they were talking about, they wasn't green, like they wasn't approved to do.
The allegations, because
it
was contractually they couldn't because of the settlement,
right?
And that's why a lot of people, you know, there were several folks who got pulled out.
Yeah,
and then they didn't get Janet. They didn't get Janet approved, so
you didn't want to be involved here. But Nia Long.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen the movie, so no spoiler alert. But just the visual, she to me appears to capture the essence of Catherine Jackson. Now we know that, you know, Mike was close to his mama. She wasn't there every day. Don't get it wrong. But I really believe that you cannot discount the influence that she had and the love that she had for her son.
Yeah,
I
agree.
With that.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I mean, I thought, you know, and even the boys at the when I say the boys, the Jackson
brothers,
the brothers said, you know, they were pleased with what she said. So yeah.
Okay, well, we'll see.
Hey, y'all, let's go ahead. We're gonna wrap it up.
It's time to wrap it up. This is the G Podcast.
I'll start with you, Tanya B. Any final thoughts? You can mix your final thoughts and then go into your
just my
go
final
to your shout outs if you haven't.
Okay, no, my final thoughts are, you know, this whole thing, and Syracuse Mike talked about it in the weekend review, is that just because these TSA workers are back to work, and I talked to them when I was coming through the airport a week ago, they still have not gotten all their back pay. So some of these folks are still working for less than minimum wage. Some of them are working and still not getting paid. They deserve to have their money.
Yeah.
You know, there's no other way I can look at it because, you know, and they do. I haven't seen what those people, who was in there, ICE. I think that was another stunt. But, you know, these are hardworking folks that have bills just like everybody else, and they need to get their coins. So shout out to those people that get up and go to work, 75 days in? They are better than me. They are better than me. So shout out to all the TSA workers. There's one gentleman I just saw on the news this morning, 90 years old. He can still lift 60 pounds. He is a TSA worker. This man kept coming to work.
Got you. What you got, Tanya? We got to leave.
I want to say, what do I want to say? I want to say shouts out to Domingo Coleman from the Michael Jackson movie for looking like Lawrence Hilton Jacobs, looking like Joe Jackson. I couldn't help it when I was watching the movie, man. I couldn't help it, man. I was like, dude, this guy looks like
Freddie Boom Boom Washington.
Hey, Freddie. He looks like Boom Boom playing Joe Jackson. He's a dude disguised like a dude, looking like another dude disguised like another dude.
Somehow you had to get the American dream in there. There you
go. Also, I want to say a big shout for doing what I would have done in the same scenario to the lady who at the White House correspondence dinner after the shooting and everything. The lady who removed not only one bottle, but then kind of hesitated and then pulled the other one, double fisted on out of there.
Oh my God.
We know it was
That's
good
my
too.
girl right there, yo.
All right.
You know what I mean?
That was hilarious. They were catching
Everything.
multiple people on camera stealing wine.
Hey,
I mean,
it
come
was
on.
supposed to be consumed.
yeah.
You sat through that. You made it through. Why
Yeah.
not
But here's the thing.
celebrate when you go home?
You had to. She can pull up
Some
here,
very
but
good wine.
all that food that went to waste, we had to pay for. They gonna reschedule it. Who gives a shit?
It was probably Trump wine, but that's an.
Oh, I forgot about that too.
No, I
Yeah.
don't think it was Trump wine. They left it with Trump wine.
Yeah, right.
Oh, that'd
She
been-
would have
no.
told you you'd had to take 4.
No, well, she wouldn't have picked it up if it was Trump wine.
Right.
What you got, Vi?
Woo!
I'm really disappointed. Why did this man think his picture belongs on my passport?
I know, right?
I mean, I'm so glad I got my passport right now. But we can't. I hope we can vote him. They can take him off once they leave office. This is crazy. This man he really think we love him. He wants to build everything.
Hope
Dude.
damn.
We want to forget that you
Wait.
ever exist.
How about the 10 most wanted list? Can you think you put a picture up on
I
that?
mean, good grief. And
I
people
really
that
hate we
sit
don't get a
around,
choice.
We need, I hope blacks are taking their votes serious now. Cause this civil right, this is serious. This is very serious.
It is very. Yeah, I
But
agree.
still vote. Still vote.
Yeah, but break off.
And take the wine.
But Tommy B, I agree with you on that. I think we should break off. And like I was telling Bree, I said, cause I know the Democrat are less of the evil, but dang, can we just we are big enough and strong enough to start our own party.
Yep, break off.
And we're big enough
That's
to
That's the only way they'll get serious. Huh? What'd you say, Vi?
We're big enough. That's enough of us to do it now.
I agree. We need to break off, bro. Break off.
Ooh-wee.
Go on. I'm ready. I've already broken off.
There you go.
So I'm broke off. I just go with. I mean, sometimes you got to go with the lesser two. So you got to hold your nose. I just have to say, my final thing, man, because we're heading into March 19th. We may take a week off before the May 19th election. We're in Georgia, and the gubernatorial race is happening. You know, all I have to say is, Mayor Keisha, if somebody asks you about 2 terms, just nod, okay? You know, because don't say, well, if my family, don't do that, because you already, I don't know if you saw it, but a reporter asked, well, you only, stayed 1 term in Atlanta. What if you run into a similar situation? Don't hesitate. Just tell them yes.
Even if you don't, even if you know.
Because now what's going to happen? You know what's going to happen?
They're going to take that and run with it.
In the general election, they're going to be running the hell out of that clip.
Yep.
Because they're going to say she's not committed. And I just, come on, y'all. There's a time for honesty, and just do like the guy that's in there now.
Lie, right? Lie. Like everybody else. Not as much.
Not your president.
Okay.
Not my president. But
just lie and apologize for it later.
Because
you get caught.
Because in that scenario, it was just not the time to talk about, well, my family is important, and look, you're in politics now.
Well,
people don't want to hear that.
I sure don't.
The daily person is worried about their family because we're paying $4 and $5 a gallon for gas. Okay,
That's right.
All right. Hey.
So okay. All right. So scan the QR code on our logo and social media for links. I hate giving advice to to people we should know.
Yeah.
Go to Castropolis.net. Use the people poll. Leave a voicemail. Love to hear from you, especially on this topic of voting rights, of the Voting Rights Act. Love to hear from you. Spotify followers, you can go and leave a comment. That's there for you. Don't forget Velvet Frequency Radio, 24/7. Get the Live 365 app. Also, you can listen at Castropolis.net.
Yeah.
Birdwire at 4 o'clock, y'all. Check it out. Sunday, 6 p.m. You can hear the best of one of our most current podcasts. As a matter of fact, the current podcast you're listening to will air first at 6 p.m. So that's it, y'all. Stay hopeful. Stay focused. It ain't over. It ain't over at all. You know, there's a lot going on, but I will have to say, I do have to say to you, you know, pay attention and look back, because a lot of these people have already told on themselves when it comes down to this. They've already told on themselves. You already know about Joe Manchin, so don't trust shit that comes out of Joe Manchin's mouth. If Kyrsten Sinema ever decides to come back into politics, don't trust her.
We don't want her.
So there's a list of names of who not to trust, and you need to stick to it. With that, episode 309's in the can, y'all. Have a great week. Peace. Power to the people.
Fight the power. I voted yesterday. I voted.
And no CC lovely people. No matter what they say, CC lovely.
You've been listening to This is the G Podcast. And This is the G Podcast is a production of the Castropolis Podcast Network. Thanks for listening.